Pioneer DJ announces a brand new standalone and more budget-friendly controller, and Native Instruments finally updates both Trakor Pro's hardware and software. Find out more coming up. Thank you for watching P.TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. Previously, Pioneer DJ only offered one standalone record box controller that you could use with the same USB sticks that you could use in a CDJ, and that was the XDJ-RX and later on the RX2. And even though that controller wasn't the most expensive thing in the world, the RX2 still priced around about $1,700 to $1,800, which is out of the price range for a lot of beginner DJs or DJs on a budget. But now Pioneer DJ seems to have heard the cries and calls of people looking to get into that ecosystem at a lower price point and have just announced the XDJ-RR. Now you can look at the XDJ-RR and see the similarities between the RX and this new unit. You see a lot of the same kind of layout and functionality, a lot of the same buttons. You get that nice colored touchscreen in the middle of the unit, as well as the ability to load two separate USBs, which allow for switchovers between DJs, which is one of the greatest things of the RX that I really like. It also offers the ability to plug in two separate USBs, so changeovers between record box DJs was pretty seamless on both the RX and now on this RR. Now there are some features missing, which is kind of expected with a lower priced piece of hardware. Most notably, instead of the 8 performance pads that you saw on the RX2, you only get the 4 on the RR, which is more in line with the first RX. But if you want that extra functionality, this unit does also support external controllers such as the Pioneer DJ DDJ XP1, so you could still get all of the performance pad functions at a smaller additional cost if you want to go down that road later on. Now the most interesting feature of this new unit, the RR, has to be the price point, and it comes in right around $1,100 US. So that's a sizable amount less than the current, standalone record box controller that they have out now. So DJs that were maybe considering one of the larger Pioneer DJ Serato controllers, or maybe another controller from another manufacturer that allows for DJ changeovers, might go ahead and swing for this new unit, the RR, that allows for changeovers in the record box ecosystem. Now, just like the RX2, this controller also allows for Record Box DJ Performance Mode using the USB plug on the back of the unit. So if you want to use your laptop with this controller and be able to search using a keyboard and going through all your playlists and want that bigger screen with more screen real estate, and you're more comfortable with that method of DJing, this unit also allows for that as well. So just go ahead and plug up your laptop, fire up Record Box DJ, and it does come with a Record Box DJ license, which is a value in itself. So you could go ahead and use it in performance mode, as well as just prep your music on USB sticks and fire away that way as well. Now for me, this unit's really interesting because I was looking to get an RX to use in pool situations here in Las Vegas, where a laptop is bound to overheat if you don't have the right amount of cooling on it, or at the least, start getting bogged down and start having audio glitches. And for most people that, don't have a backup or don't have some music on a USB stick, or in many situations for the smaller pools here in Las Vegas, you don't have any other gear besides the gear you bring, which is usually maybe a controller and your laptop. But with this controller, I could bring my laptop, bring the controller, and use the actual Record Box DJ software with that. Or what I would probably end up doing is just use the USB sticks and fire away on those and not have to worry at all about anything overheating. So in that regard, to have a controller that gets that kind of functionality without having to shell out an extra $700 is a godsend in my opinion. And I'll definitely be checking out this unit when it drops later this year. Now recently, there's been some rumblings about Native Instruments, really dedicating themselves back to the Trakor platform, which has really not seen a major update in some years at this point. A lot of people even just kind of gave up and moved on to other software such as Record Box DJ or Serato DJ Pro, because there haven't been, those kind of updates, both software side and hardware side, for a software like Trakor that had a die-hard fan base. But it seems like that time is up, and they have just announced updates for both the software and brand new pieces of hardware as well. So first up, let's talk about the software. Brand new Trakor Pro 3. Now the first thing you'll notice with Trakor Pro 3 is that it has a more flatter design and more contrasty design. Now I would say it's more in line with a lot of the more modern music software out there, such as Machina or even Serato DJ Pro. They have that more flatter design. And like I mentioned, it looks cleaner, flatter, and easier to read just because of the design. And overall, I'm really happy with this update to the overall look, because compared to Trakor Pro 2 and the newer softwares for DJing and other software such as Machina that I mentioned, it looks a bit dated, and seeing it updated this way, kind of brings it up to date, which I'm really happy about. Now, Native Instruments did mention previously that they'd be rebuilding Trakor from the ground up, and I have to mention that this new update isn't that. They're still working on that, so we should see that kind of major update coming soon. I don't know when, they haven't given a timeline for that, but to move from Trakor Pro 2 to Trakor Pro 3 and give this new refreshed look still gets a thumbs up in my book, and there have been a ton of users out there, such as myself, waiting for this day. Now, the second feature that I'm really excited about has to be that Native Instruments has gone away with the separation of Trakor Pro and Trakor Scratch Pro. Now, here's the best part. Trakor Scratch compatibility is now open to any audio interface. Previously, you would need a Scratch certified interface such as the Native Instruments Audio 6, Audio 10, or Scratch enabled mixers such as the Pioneer DJ DJM900 Nexus. But now with the capability to work with any mixer or any audio interface, I could see Trakor kind of making a small comeback, if not a major comeback. The ability to just plug into any mixer or any audio interface is a real game changer in my opinion, because previously if you wanted to use DVS with Trakor, you had to bring your own box, or you had to make sure they had the right mixer. But now you can just plug into whatever and get it to work fine. And I still stand by Trakor sounding better and having tighter response than Serato in my opinion. I mean, I've gone back and forth with both and I still feel that tighter control with Trakor, but the fact that I had to bring separate hardware, or it wasn't just plug and play to connect and play, really kept me from using Trakor just for that fact alone. But now that issue has been resolved and I can't be happier about it. Now, the third feature that they announced that I'm excited about has to be the inclusion of what they're calling channel effects. Now, these are pretty much the same as color effects that you would find on a Pioneer DJ mixer. So things like a filter or a dub echo, where you could access them per channel, are now available in the Trakor software. And this kind of leads into their hardware announcements. So Native Instruments announced 2 new pieces of hardware to go with the updated Trakor Pro 3 announcement. And these new pieces of hardware are updates to their 2 most popular controllers, the S2 and the S4. Now, as a former S4 owner and user, it's really nice to see them continuing the lineage. It was one of the first real popular controllers for any software, in my opinion, and it really had a lot going on and really made you feel like you're using a nice piece of hardware, especially in the time when the first S4 came out. And this new edition does a good job of continuing that legacy. Now, the first standout feature of the S4 has to be the addition of Motorized Jog Wheels. Now, Motorized Jog Wheels on controllers isn't new, but what is new is this new haptic feedback that they've added to the S4. So the way haptic feedback is supposed to work is that you'll be able to feel like a small vibration or a small click kind of, or be able to feel when you hit things like cue points or loops while you're playing the track, which gives you a kind of feedback that we really haven't seen, and I think is going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to try it out to see exactly how it works and see how useful it is. But secondly, it also has a mode where you will be able to edit and move around beat grids using the jog wheel and maybe using that haptic feedback to get them more precise and get them lined up even faster than. And third, the feature I would probably use the most with these new motorized jog wheels is the turntable mode. So they go ahead and move like you would see any other motorized platter work, and you'll be able to slow them down and pitch bend just like you would on any other turntable or moving platter. So go ahead and, touching the side of the platter or speeding it up by lightly touching the top. And as a turntablist, I'm really excited to see more and more motorized platters making it into the scene. So first we had the Rain 12, and then we had Denon announce their SC5000 M, and now we have Native Instruments stepping in with another motorized platter. And I hope this is a trend that continues, because I love the feeling of motorized platters just coming from turntables. It'll always feel, more alive and more fun to play on, in my opinion. And to see it on a controller that I already liked from the get-go is just 2 thumbs up. Native Instruments also announced the smaller brother to the S4, an update to the S2, and this one takes kind of the same design language that we saw with the S4 and just kind of shrinks it down. Just like previous, the S2 was a 2-channel version of the S4, but the cool standout feature is actually on the back of the controller that you wouldn't notice unless you scroll through all the photos that they released, and that's the addition of an iOS port. So hopefully this means that Trakor is going to go ahead and update the Trakor DJ app for iOS that really hasn't seen an update in a long time. I really liked what Native Instruments was doing with their DJ app, but it really wasn't fully developed, and I really hope that this allows for this controller to work seamlessly with the app. Just like previously, the older S2 did work with the app, but I hope this means that, you know, they're really gonna push the app forward, and having it actually labeled on the controller leads me to that. I hope the integration is seamless and they really flesh out that app, because just like I talked about having that Pioneer controller standalone with USB sticks, if I could just bring this S2 and, you know, an iPad with a big enough drive, I think I could go on and get through a set just as well, and I really wouldn't have to worry about the kind of overheating that you would have to worry about with a device like a laptop. Now, to note, the S4 does have a similar port on the back of it that just says hub, so I hope the kind of functionality that they're advertising with the S2 with that port labeled iOS does translate over to the S4 as well, because even though I like the portability of the S2, and that plus a nice iPad with a big drive could make for a nice mobile setup, but if I can get that same iPad functionality with the bigger brother S4 with those motorized platters, I'm gonna go ahead and lean that way, just because it's gonna be way more fun to play on, for me at least. Now, this was just an initial announcement from Native Instruments, pretty much just to go ahead and announce the hardware, but they had to announce the update to Trakor Pro as well. So Trakor Pro is actually going to be released next month in October for a retail price of $99, or if you are an existing user, upgrade is going to be $49. So $50 to get all these new features is a really small price to pay, and I'll definitely be shelling out that $50 to Native Instruments just to see what, you know, all these updates are and how it works, and along with the release date of the actual software. They did announce release dates for the hardware as well. So the S2 will be coming out the end of next month in October as well, and the S4 should be coming sometime later around the holiday season, around November. So if you are an existing Trakor user and you've been waiting just like I have for a major update, this seems to be it, at least so far. And if you're a new DJ looking to get into DJing and you haven't really decided what system to get into, you know, Trakor, Serato DJ, or Rekordbox DJ, finally, Native Instruments is making a solid case on why you might want to invest into Trakor hardware and software. So that's it for the news this week. So question of the day, how do you feel about this new trend of motorized platters on different pieces of DJ hardware? Go and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching P.TV, where you find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time. Before,